Well, Sputnik V is the fourth vaccine to obtain emergency use authorization following Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Sinovac. Let's hear more from the company that funded the production of Sputnik V. We go above and beyond the headlines with the CEO of the Russian Direct Investment Fund, Kirill Dimitriev. He joins us now live from Moscow. Mr. Dimitriev, thank you so much for joining us. With Sputnik V receiving this EUA from the Philippine FDA, how soon will the country receive the supply of Sputnik V vaccines?
So we'll make the first shipment already in April. And we believe this is definitely great news for Philippines and for the region. And we admire the work of President Duarte and his COVID fighting team, because what Philippines has done is really remarkable. You registered vaccine from the US, from Europe, from China, and from Russia. And I think this is exactly the right approach to fight COVID, to really get a portfolio of successful vaccines. And this really puts Philippines on a map as a very successful fighter with COVID, with all of the different vaccines that are available.
So, Mr. Dimitriev, you said the shipment will be in April. Is there an exact date in April when the Sputnik V vaccines will arrive in the country?
Yeah, definitely will be in the first half of April. And very important that Philippine regulator appreciated that not only Sputnik has efficacy more than 90%, and it's one of the three vaccines in the world with efficacy more than 90%, but it's based on safe adenoviral platform. It can be stored at refrigerated temperature, and it's very affordable. So we will start the first shipment in first half of April, and we already are registered in 52 nations around the world. So there is definitely great demand for Sputnik V, but Philippines is a great priority for us, and we'll work with your government to deliver enough volumes of shots to be part of your great vaccination program.
That is my next question. You mentioned about the volumes of shots. How many doses of Sputnik V will be arriving in the Philippines within the first 15 days of April?
Well, I think we've got to finalize some of this with the government, and I think the government will make the announcement. All I can say is that we have had major progress on production of Sputnik V. Even today, we announced another partnership that will enable us to produce another 200 million doses this year. So we will be producing enough to be part of the vaccination program in Philippines, and I think government will be making those announcements. And by the way, we're also open to produce our vaccine in Philippines. We believe that we can start production in Philippines within the next 4 or 5 months, if again Philippine partners move at the right speed with us. And we believe that Russia and Philippines can be great partners to production of Sputnik V vaccine, not only for Philippines, but also for the region.
All right, if you will be producing Sputnik V in the Philippines within the next 4 to 5 months, have you already been speaking to some partners here in the country that could manufacture the vaccine in the country?
Yes, so we have spoken with some players, and again, we don't have final agreements. We are sort of in the final negotiation process with them. And again, if we reach final agreement, we can do this production. But if not, we'll be supplying vaccine from India, Brazil, China, Korea, and other countries where Sputnik V has been agreed to be produced. And by the way, we also have a partnership with AstraZeneca, where we can provide one of our shots to make vaccines from AstraZeneca more efficient. And we believe from the middle of the year, we may be able to provide second shot to first shot from AstraZeneca, which will be a first example of such international cooperation between vaccines. And that approach is also very important to fight different mutations that could be emerging.
All right, you mentioned about variants, mutations. The Philippines today, Mr. Dimitriev, reached a record high in terms of single-day infection cases. Today, Friday, we have 7,103, and we have been affected by various variants. What is the effectiveness of Sputnik V against the new COVID variants?
So we confirm Sputnik V is as efficient against the British strain as with other mutations. We will be releasing information on South African and other strains within the next 2 weeks, and so far it shows very high efficacy. And the reason we are so efficient is because Sputnik V is actually a cocktail of 2 different shots. And this cocktail of 2 different shots, we call it adenovirus 26 and adenovirus 5, makes it better fighter against mutations. But we do believe that mutations have to be monitored. We see that the new mutations are much more contagious. And we believe that jointly with Philippines, we will have Sputnik V that's already very powerful against mutations. And in the future, if we need to make some modifications later the year, we can also do so. And frankly, we already have a version of Sputnik that already includes all of the existing mutations that have been observed, main mutations in the world.
All right, the Sputnik V vaccine will have 2 shots administered. How many weeks in between is the second dose of the Sputnik V?
That's another advantage, that the second dose can be administered within 3 weeks, not 3 months of one another, allowing people to be vaccinated very quickly. And basically, this is the regimen that we've been using. And the reason why we can do this is, again, because we have 2 different shots, and they can be used much closer to one another with efficacy more than 90%, whereas some other vaccines, they have to wait for several months for them to have, reasonable efficacy. So we can do 2 shots within 3 weeks, which allows us to fully vaccinate larger number of people, not having to wait for a long time.
All right, what about the use of the Sputnik V vaccine? Mr. Dimitriev, which age range? In press reports, it's 18 and above. Can this also be administered to senior citizens, 65 years and above?
Yes, definitely. And we have shown in the Lancet publications that the same efficacy for older people as for younger people. We have also started tests of Sputnik V even on children. And we believe that we will have the results of those studies in the next couple of months. But definitely 18 plus is a category for vaccination. And we've had great successes in Argentina, in Mexico, in Russia, in more than 40 countries that are already using Sputnik right now to vaccinate the older population, which of course is at high risk and needs to be vaccinated as a priority.
Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight on CNN Philippines. Kirill Dimitriev, the CEO of Russian Direct Investment Fund.